Okay, so this is a bit of a review and just a few impressions of the Everyday Tarot deck. It comes in this box, which is a nice fancy box that I actually don't mind the box. You open it up, you've got your book tucked in here like a sleeve, and then you've got this big sleeve there which takes in your cards, and it comes with a little bit of padding. It's hard, so you can take it away with you, and not much else really to say about the box. It could have been made a little bit smaller because there was a big wad of plastic in here that didn't really need to be in here. You know, it was just tucking the cards. The book is okay. The author of the cards actually has an in-depth book as well that you can purchase, which I think is a little bit on the pricey side actually, so I haven't purchased it. There's your 7 steps to an accurate and insightful tarot reading, and there is your quick tarot spreads, which if you are a complete beginner might be handy, but then again I would not necessarily purchase this as a beginner. Before we get onto that though, the actual size of the cards. So compared to a mini deck, this is my mini Thoth deck, and the cards are the same height, but you can see the border is actually coming out, so it does end up being wider than the Thoth mini. You can see this, and again I wouldn't really trim those edges, you know, I would keep them as they are. Compared to a standard tarot deck, this is my Golden Universal, so you can see that we have nearly the same width, so these are wider than they are longer, okay, because in the height they are missing quite a bit of height to get to a standard deck. So putting that aside, my first impression when I saw these was very much, oh, I've got to have them. They are purple and gold. You know, they're 2 of my favorite colors. If you look at my tarot mat right now, one side is purple, one side is gold. And I received the deck and I thought, oh, brilliant, you know, it's a mini deck. I knew it was on the mini side, and I thought, oh, that's great, you know, I'm going to be able to take it away with me, and that will be really great as a portable deck. And then I looked into the cards a little bit more in detail, and I love reading detail in my cards. And of course, if you look just there, you know, taking an example of just a few cards, everybody's facing the same direction and everybody's expression is the same. Male, female, everybody's expression is exactly the same. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. So if you're like me and you read expressions, then that might become a little bit of an issue because you need to get your cues somewhere else. Now, secondly, the color scheme, even though I love the color scheme, that became a problem because there's no expression and there's no color scheme to read from either, because you have this sort of monochromic thing happening, so every card has the same color scheme. So then you could argue, well, you know, you can devise and attribute certain color like the gold to something and the purple to something else, but for me those are sorely lacking, and so it rendered it pretty much useless. You know, I use it as a quick sort of quick draw kind of deck, but I don't use it very much at all, and you can see the cards are, you know, pretty much unused because there's just a lack of communication with them. I can see how some people might actually communicate better with them through their simplicity and just utilizing the traditional tarot meanings. But once again, if you are like me and you need a little bit more to go on, like your colors and your radiance and the expressions and, you know, reading the legs being empowered with that yellow and the cape having that red on the inside and that peaceful green hat, okay, and all of that is great. You know, there's so much to read about how this guy is feeling right now, which I'm just not getting. This is very two-dimensional, you know, even the sun is very two-dimensional. This is not radiating out. Like here you've got radiating out, and that's just comparing it very plainly to the Golden Universal. It's not even going to a very fancy deck, you know. So this okay, so held me back greatly, shall we say. I do like the aces. I do like the way that the aces are depicted, but then aces are simpler because being the one, you know, they represent the sort of source of their suit. So I like the ace depiction. I think this is one of the better done cards in the deck, for certain. And you can see how you could work with these because they have actually kept a lot of the elements in those of the traditional decks, okay? So yeah, the ace is better done. When I go into the cups, you know, the lack of water. I mean, here there's a little bit of water, which is a little bit wavy, you know, a little bit of wave, a little bit of mountain, but again, very, very, very simplistic representation all the way through. I do like the Queen of Cups though. She is beautiful. But again, this is way more involved. You have her beautiful hair with the stars, which goes all the way down. You have her fishtail. She's a mermaid. So, you know, you have more to read here. Again, this dips a little bit more for me. So although the King of Cups is always depicted with that more unsettled waters, and so it does take a lot of its cues from the traditional deck. I would say it is a clone of the Rider-Waite in many ways, and it does utilize the same symbology as the Rider-Waite in a lot of its depictions. I'm sure it's a handy deck to have around if you just want to take something simple and away with you, and if you absolutely always want to travel with a book, because the book is in the box. But for me, it's not my favorite deck, not by a long shot. I can't even tell you that I've got a favorite card in this deck because, to be honest, the depictions are just so semi that after a while of looking at the deck, you know, I can't see past just the colors basically. So it's a bit of a shame really, because I really wanted to like this deck, but I've ended up not liking it very much. And certainly I would say if you're a well-read tarot reader, then certainly you're going to be happy using this. If you're a beginner, you might use it as flashcards for your remembering the different cards, but as a reading set, I find that it carries very little energy and there's very little to read intuitively into it. That's just my take though, so you have to go and see how you feel about it. Maybe visit the flip through video to see how you feel about it all, and let me know. Okay, don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course join our Patreon channel, which gives you loads of insights on how to work with your tarot. See you soon.